Good morning everyone. Today I was going to be talking about the augmenting system and the big changes that they did. Unfortunately, the servers are down for an emergency maintenance all the way until 6 p.m. which is when these videos usually go live. So unfortunately, today we will not be talking about PSO2 simply because I can't log into the game and showcase all of this stuff. So what are we going to be talking about instead? I have a ton of people asking me, Caro, are you going to be playing Tower of Fantasy? And the answer to that question is yes, I will be playing the global version. So the first thing I want to address is what on earth is Tower of Fantasy? Just think of Genshin Impact, but a little bit more party-based content. So Genshin Impact is a great game. I really enjoy Genshin Impact. I have a blast playing it. However, the way that I enjoy to play Genshin Impact is a solo player experience. I do prefer to play by myself. I don't really like the party play that much simply because it kind of nerfs you a little bit in the sense that instead of having 4 party members, you're reduced down to 2. And then if you have more people playing with you, then you have less and less characters that you can play with. So I'm not a huge fan of that aspect. However, in Tower of Fantasy, on the other hand, you control one character, but you have 3 different weapons that you can work with. And so you can switch between your weapons whenever you want. It feels very similar to Genshin Impact's elemental reaction type of system. You have all of these weapons, they all excel at different things, and you kind of mix and match depending on what you're fighting. So if you're fighting a boss that has a lot of shields, for example, then maybe your range weapons or your fast hitting attack weapons might not be as effective against a shield, and that is where you bring out the claymore or the big hitting weapons in order to break the shield, and then you can switch back to your fast attacking weapons in order to do some crazy chain combos. So the thing I really enjoy about Tower of Fantasy is it's got a crossover between your solo experience, so that's going to be like the main storyline, the exploration, all of that stuff. So if you're looking for another game to give you that type of Genshin experience where you just explore the open world and have fun, I think this game will definitely scratch that itch. However, of course, there is limited amount of content. It's just like Genshin Impact, you know, after 2-3 weeks, you've explored all of Liyue, all of Inazuma, all of everything, and you're kind of like, well, there's nothing else to explore. What else is there to do? And Tower of Fantasy has the same problem as well. Eventually, you're going to run out of exploration stuff to do because, well, you're going to explore everything. So I give most players probably around 2 to 3 weeks of just pure fun, and then you'll probably have run out of exploration things to do. And this is where the group content comes into play and kind of makes Tower of Fantasy really shine, and that is of course the raids. So the raids in Tower of Fantasy is group content. You group up together with a bunch of other people and you go kill a big bad boss. Very straightforward, very simple, but of course there are going to be mechanics, and the boss's HP is pretty massive, so you do need a specific amount of gear, which will require you to do some dungeons or runes in order to gear up and slowly get stronger and stronger so that you can do the raids. And I'm perfectly fine with this. You know, you kind of need to do the baby stuff first, the baby steps to gear up, and then once you're fully geared, then you could gain access to the raids. And there's actually several tiers of raids. I believe there's like 3 or 4 tiers of raids, so depending on like how geared you are, you can go for the more difficult ones. And the nice thing about the raids is they do have a chance of dropping those SSR weapons or those like super rare weapons, and it's really nice. So personally, I'm going to be focusing on the PvE aspect of Tower of Fantasy, and I'm going to be playing it super casually. It's going to be one of my side games. When PSO2 is on maintenance, for example, I'll probably bust this out and play it a little bit. However, it's not going to kill Genshin Impact for me. Genshin Impact, to me personally, I still prefer that type of playstyle more, simply because it really immerses me. I love the music, I love the graphics. It just feels really polished for me, and I feel no pressure or no rush to blast through the storyline in Genshin Impact because I'm competing against no one. It's a single player experience for me, at least the way that I play it. So it's not a big deal. While Tower of Fantasy, I will be playing with my friends, so there will be that small pressure of like, oh man, I don't want to fall behind. I don't want to be the person who is just slacking off and getting carried. So naturally, I'll feel the urge to want to grind and blast through the story a lot faster in Tower of Fantasy because I don't want to fall behind in my group of friends. However, at the end of the day, I'm going to be playing Tower of Fantasy for fun and for fun alone. I'm not going to be spending any money. I really don't care about other people gearing up faster than me or gearing up better than me. It really doesn't matter to me personally because I'm just approaching it through a casual player's perspective. It's just going to be a casual side game that I have fun with. However, if you do care about being the best and you are ultra competitive, unfortunately, Tower of Fantasy is going to be very pay to win. because if you do want to access a lot of the hard raids, especially near the end game raids, you are going to need to spend a lot of money in order to gacha for all these rare weapons, get the constellations for the weapons, get the chips in order to enhance your weapons to get even greater power. And so it is very, very pay to win when it comes to that aspect. However, on the PvE side, it's not that big of a deal because it's just like, oh, look, we've got a whale in our party. That means we're going to kill this boss even faster. It's a win-win for everyone. However, when we transition over to the PvP side, this becomes quite an issue. Now, the nice thing about the PvP side is, yes, there is quote-unquote equalized gear. So for example, let's say that you have a Constellation 1 sword while your opponent has a Constellation 6 sword. Well, don't worry, it's going to equalize it. Everyone's going to have a Constellation 6 sword in PvP. However, the chips or the quote-unquote enhancements that they have on their weapon, they can carry that over. So the whales will have an advantage over you simply because, well, their sword is going to hit a lot harder than your sword because they've got all those enhancements. And so if you're ultra competitive and you're going for the best #1 slot all the time, and that really matters to you, unfortunately, you are going to be spending a lot of money in order to keep up, because whenever there's a new banner, there's a new weapon, a new character, there's going to be new chipsets, and you'll constantly need to burn money in order to get all of those new weapons and all of those new chipsets in order to stay competitive in the PvP scene. So, you know, unfortunately, that is just how it is. So what I'd recommend for the mass majority of the players is go into Tower Fantasy as a casual player. Just play it for fun, you know, enjoy the experience. And when you hit a wall which requires you to pay money, just be like, fudge it, screw it, and just do something else. That is what I'm planning to do. And I don't think Tower Fantasy is going to be killing off Genshin Impact or killing off PSO2 or killing off any of the games that I play, simply because Tower Fantasy is its own niche. It's kind of that party game, I guess. You know, you've got PvE content, you've got some casual stuff, you got some like slice of life stuff. As you can see here, me is like cooking me a meal or something. And then you've just got like some really, really chill things. It kind of gives me that Mario Party vibe with the mini games. But the mini games, to me personally, isn't going to be the main attraction. I'm more of a combat type of guy, so I think the raids as well as the PvE dungeons and all of that stuff is going to be more of my jam. So in conclusion, yes, I will be playing Tower Fantasy on the global side and just messing around and just having fun as a free-to-play player and very casual player as well. I'm not going to go hyper competitive. I'm not going to try to min-max and be first on the server to do XYZ. Let me know in the comment section below, are you going to be playing Tower Fantasy or not? Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again. But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye!
What can I say except you're welcome?